You would not have seen this a year ago on the campus of Florida Atlantic University, but last night students were camping out outside Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena trying to get tickets for the 10th ranked Florida Atlantic Owls home opener. You would not have seen this a year ago on the campus of Florida Atlantic University, but last night students were camping out outside Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena trying to get tickets for the 10th ranked Florida Atlantic Owls home opener. ESPN presents American Athletic Conference basketball tonight from Boca Raton. The 10th ranked Florida Atlantic Owls in their home opener going up against the visitors, the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Hi everybody, I'm Frank Fort alongside Matt McCall. Great to be working with you again. Matt, we all know what happened last year. The Owls won 35 games. They made an incredible run to the Final Four, and head coach Dusty May says, you know what? It's great to embrace that history, but let's not live in it. It's a new season.
Frank, I heard Bill Belichick say after one of his championships, it's on to next year. We're not defending anything. They can't take the banner away from us. It's already up in the rafters. It's on to this season. There'll be new challenges. It's a new conference, but this team under Coach May, they're up for it.
At Paradise Madness a couple of weeks ago, that banner went up. The great news for Florida Atlantic, 14 of their 15 players from a year ago are back to try and do it all over again. Well, these two teams played last year up in Ypsilanti, and Florida Atlantic won by 28. Now, Imani Bates was the big star for the Eagles last year. He's off to the NBA, second-round pick by the Cavaliers, but they have 6 new faces, and in some ways, Matt, they might be harder to defend.
Well, I think when you have a player of Imani Bates' talent, the ball is in his hands so much that it can sometimes stick. But we're talking about a guy here in Tyson Acuff, who actually averaged more minutes last season than Bates did. He's back. The ball will be in his hands. Look for him to be in high pick and roll a lot tonight. They're going to need a big game out of him against this really, really tough FAU defense.
And for the Eagles, that defense, and to a large extent their offense, keyed by Vlad Golden at 7-1. You know, Thanksgiving's next week. In the opener, he stuffed that stat book like it was a turkey.
The big fella just seems to get better and better as his FAU career progresses. 19, 10, and 5 blocks in the season opener. And who can forget that huge double-double he had in the Elite Eight game?
Well, to start off this season, Florida Atlantic ranked number 10. They are among the elite in college basketball as we sit here this evening.
Well, no question about it, and rightfully so. Made it all the way to the Final Four, lost by 1 possession in that game. Could have played for a national championship. They're up there, Frank, with the Blue Bloods in the top 10. Some big-time games tonight in college basketball, but I'm excited. I'm here with you, Frank, and we're watching this one.
Eastern Michigan, coached by Stan Heath. He is coaching his alma mater in his 3rd season there, his 16th overall. And on the other side, Dusty May, the only head coaching job he's had is 6th year at Florida Atlantic. And Matt, by the way, Dusty May's first assistant coaching job in Ypsilanti, Michigan, with Eastern Michigan 05-06.
How about that? Frank, what a buzz in this arena right now. South Florida has not been this excited about basketball since LeBron James joined the Miami Heat.
Legend Jeter and Vlad Golden in the opening tip, won by Golden and the Owls. The lob to Golden for the stop.
You can tell Coach May drew that play up right off the tip, the back screen to the big guy after the jump ball for the dunk. They drew that one up right there in the locker room.
Eastern Michigan in the black uniforms with the green trim. The Owls wearing their new sand-colored uniforms. John McGriff on the handle. That's the screen from Jeter. Jeter down low. Over Weatherspoon lays it in.
Yeah, Jeter's a guy that played a lot of minutes last year for this team. Started 21 games, averaged 21 minutes per game. Transfer from Providence College.
You see the starting lineup for the Owls: Davis, Boyd, Greenlee, Weatherspoon, and Golden. Nick Boyd open for a triple. That's off the iron. Tyson Acuff with his first rebound. Billingsley, McGriff, Jeter, Acuff, and Osonjek, the freshman from Slovenia.
Keep an eye on Osonjek. He's got an extremely quick release. Doesn't need any time to get his three-point shot off. Talked to Coach May yesterday. He thought the biggest key in this game for his Owls was they can't give up threes. I think if you go to the other side for Eastern Michigan, Frank, they just got to take care of the basketball. Right now on the season through 2 games, averaging 16 turnovers a game. That was big in the game last year versus FAU, why FAU stretched that lead out to as big as they did.
And McGriff lost his footing and caused the first turnover. Golden down low, finishes up the glass.
Great action there, a little high-low action to get the ball into Vlad. I love the conscious effort to get him going here early in this game.
McGriff around to Jeter's screen. Pick and roll, Jeter tied up by Davis, stolen by Davis. Weatherspoon lays it in. Eastern Michigan looking for travel, no call.
We don't see Weatherspoon lay it in very much. We know he's good for a highlight Sports Center top 10. I don't think he can get his legs underneath him. A great help side defense on that last possession by John L. Davis.
6-2 Owls. 2 minutes plus in. Acuff. Osonjek for a 3. Rebound Boyd.
Love the activity early on Acuff and high pick and roll. Being aggressive with him, not just letting him come off and pick FAU apart.
Greenlee on the crossover, finds Boyd. Nick on the penetration, scoops it in.
You know, Boyd, anytime you come to an FAU practice, he's one of the more vocal guys out there on the floor for this team. One of the leaders out there, did an unbelievable job last season, that's carried over to this year.
Acuff with a triple out of the corner. He's got all 5.
Highlighted him in the pregame. just his toughness. Shot a higher percentage from 3 last year than Amani Bates did as well.
Here's John L. Davis. Nice crossover. Tried to feed Golden. Stolen by Osoniek. Osoniek picked his pocket from behind. Greenlee saved it in. What a play. Boyd on the run. Weatherspoon triple. Good.
That's when this team is at their best. Turning defense into offense. Paint touch threes. It's electric in here, Frank.
It's incredible atmosphere. It was not like this at the start of last season, but Matt, as you all know as a former college coach, winning does a lot of things. Legend Jeter. Osoniek. All the way in, rejected by Golden. Acuff with another triple, that won't go. Davis with the rebound. Davis cut off at the baseline. Greenlee finds Boyd, swings Weatherspoon, another three. It's good again. FAU shooting the lights out early.
You know, Frank, I thought in the first game versus Loyola Chicago, there were times in the game where they got a little stagnant offensively where the ball did stick. You can see there's an effort to keep that thing moving. Multiple guys touching it in possession to find the open man.
Billingsley misses the three. Davis had it knocked away momentarily, and he'll reset. 14-5, Owls in the early going. Greenlee got it to Boyd despite a defensive tip. Boyd feeds Greenlee, straightaway triple.
Great pass by Nick Boyd. Drove it to the baseline, found the open man at the top of the key. The ball movement, the player movement early in this game has been so impressive by the FAU Owls.
FAU's hit 7 of their first 8, including 3 of 4 from three-point range, and they have an early 12-point lead over the Eagles.
Challenge the perspective the world sees you by. Challenge the perspective the world sees you by. Answer the questions they're afraid to ask. You need grit. You need determination. Because this isn't just a campus. It's a coastline. This is Florida Atlantic University. Your future awaits.
Back in Boca Raton, early 12-point lead for the 10th-ranked Florida Atlantic Owls over Eastern Michigan. I'm Frank Fork alongside Matt McCall. Matt, how about keys to the game?
Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier for Eastern Michigan. Just got to take care of the basketball. Done a poor job of that through their first 2 games this season. Already have 3 turnovers tonight. I think they got to handle this environment and match FAU's intensity. Got to settle in and play basketball. A lot of basketball left in this game. And I think for FAU, Coach May alluded to it, got to defend the three. They don't want to just give up rhythm three-point shots and just sustain that intensity. But what we talked about earlier, I thought that Loyola Chicago game, it did get stagnant, especially in the second half of the game. Just 1 for 9 from the three-point line. I love the effort to get the ball to the paint. The ball's moving, it's hopping around. Man, FAU's bringing it tonight.
Owls with 6 assists on their 7 made baskets so far. A couple of substitutions for Eastern Michigan. Kirill Martinoff, number 21, into the game, along with Kevin David Rice, number 0, Connor Servin, number 2, and Javante Randall, number 35.
And how about for FAU, the preseason player of the year in the conference? He's coming off the bench tonight too.
Yeah, Elijah Martin, he's been hurt a lot before the schedule started. He hasn't practiced a whole lot. There's a steal by Boyd in the lane. And we had a whistle, and a turnover gives it back to the Owls.
The activity defensively right now, Dusty May talked about it. He loved the intensity level that they played with up in Chicago. Guys were active, diving on the floor for loose balls. He kept praising the effort in that game, even though at times in the second half they may have been struggling offensively, but their effort was there. And that is a heck of a win to start the season. To go on the road and play against that team, I know it's a neutral site, but it was still in Chicago.
Yeah.
To play against that team who's picked atop of the Atlantic 10 this year, that's a great win to start the season.
Nick Boyd out of the corner drills another triple, the 4th so far in the first half.
And another assist, Frank. That makes 7 in this game. That ball is moving around the perimeter. They're also doing a great job of attacking the paint. You can see Eastern Michigan trying to go zone there. FAU, great job executing zone offense.
A-Cup driving over Rosado, won't go. Jalen Gaffney into the game for the first time, has the rebound. Elijah Martin bounces it off the glass, won't go. Rosado kept it alive. Giancarlo Rosado down low against Servin. Finds an open Boyd for another triple, not this time. A-Cup rebound.
In fact, that one didn't go in, but I love when Rosado catches it. He doesn't try to force something up at the basket. He faces the basket so he can see the whole floor and found a wide open Nick Boyd.
A near steal by Gaffney, and it's a backcourt violation. Julius Ellerby trying to go from the post back outside, threw it away.
Such a luxury for Dusty May's team. Even go back to last year. And I know we're not going to keep going back to last year, Frank, because we got to move on to this year. But Vlad Golden comes out of the game. You sub in Rosado. You don't miss a single beat. He guards pick and rolls. He moves his feet. Just made a great pass there. Doesn't try to force things offensively. Just makes the right play. It's a luxury. That's why this team was so good. Didn't matter who was out there on the floor. And it was someone's night every given night. You go back to that NCAA tournament, it was just one guy that played well throughout the run to the Final Four. It was someone on every different night. Nick Boyd hits the game winner. John L. Davis has an electric night. Vlad Golden goes for a double. Someone different every night, and that's what makes this team so good. It's not one superstar or two. Anybody on any given night can go for 20.
Brennan Lorient, number 0, the sophomore, into the game right now. I guess we got some jersey issues. For some reason. They made Jalen Gaffney take off his undershirt. They're doing the same thing with Elijah Martin. So I can only surmise the officials believe that's some sort of uniform violation.
Maybe the undershirt's not the sand color, so you got to take it off because it doesn't match the sand. You just mentioned Lorient. I thought he had a great summer. You could see, really put a lot of time in. From my hometown, Frank.
Is that right?
Ocala, Florida.
Wow. I watched a couple of practices leading up to the opener, and he looks like a different guy. A year ago, he was just running around. Now he actually looks like he knows where to be and when to be there.
No question about it.
Greenlee with the handoff. Draws a double team. Gaffney on the baseline. Lorient couldn't get it to fall.
The right play there, though, Frank. He cut from the corner. He was wide open, just wasn't able to get to the finish. He's a high flyer, much like Weatherspoon as well.
A-Cup to the foul line, and a leaner goes.
Good job coming off that ball screen, probing in the middle pick and roller. Rosado's in drop coverage, so he kind of holds the defender on his back, takes one dribble, able to hit that floater.
Here's Gaffney. Finds Rosado, low post. Works on Martinick. And can't hit the layup. A couple of layups missed by the Owls, but Matt, they're getting good shots.
Getting great shots. Again, Rosado takes his time, gets him all the way to the basketball, just didn't go down.
Acuff with a three, that won't go. Gaffney rebounds. Owls up 13. Lorient, Gaffney. Rosado in the post again, and a foul called. That'll go against Julius Ellerby, his first.
Great job of Rosado ducking in. Had the smaller player on it. You can see FAU trying to go to him in the post. Didn't settle, had him on his back. You can see the help coming. Great job, Rosado, getting himself in there and getting the right position.
John McGriff back into the game, replacing Acuff. Acuff with 5 of the 7 points for Eastern Michigan. Owls will trigger it in on the baseline. Rosado. Good passing, big man. Elijah Martin had a rough opener, shot 1 for 8 up at Loyola Chicago. Greenlee on the penetration. Finds Rosado for an easy layup.
What a play by Greenlee. You know, you go back to last year's game, he was outstanding. FAU put 4 guys in double figures in that game against Eastern Michigan. He had 23 and led the way.
There's McGriff, guarded by Martin. Ellerby uses the Martinoff screen. Martinoff down low will get a layup.
FAU being pretty aggressive pick and roll coverage-wise there. The help's got to come from the backside on the roller to the basket.
Rosado, high post. Lorient with a mini stop.
You just mentioned it, Frank, about Rosado being a really good passing big man. What a play on the high-low pass to find the high flyer Lorient down there in the basket.
Ellerby. Martinoff swings it to Rice. Now McGriff. McGriff pulls up from 17. Rebound Greenlee. Martin for 3. Spills out. Thing was halfway down.
Frank, you alluded to it. He missed a lot of practice time. And for such a talented offensive player, he just needs reps. He needs game reps to get himself going, because when you miss that amount of practice, it's tough to find your offensive rhythm.
Beat David Rice on the drive. That won't go. Gaffney the other way for the Owls. Rosado hands to Gaffney. On the lob, Lorient plays it in.
You could see he was pointing to Gaffney, trying to sneak it along the baseline there. He gave him the signal to throw it up, and he went it up. And it's great to see just his development from one year to the next. They say players always tend to make the biggest jump from their freshman and sophomore year, and Lorient's doing that, you can see.
Ellerby cut off on the baseline, fades and fires, wait for it. Elijah Martin with the rebound. Under 10 minutes to go, just past the halfway point in the first half. Gaffney looking for Rosado down low, doesn't have it. Here's Giancarlo, wheels into the paint with a little Euro step.
A big fella catching on the perimeter. Talked about his ability to pass. I didn't know he had that Euro step in his game, Frank.
Well, you talked about how much better Lorient is. Think about all the guys who played big roles last year, Matt, how they've developed under Dusty May in this program. From Martin to Davis to Boyd to Golden. It's been a trademark of the Dusty May teams. Rice underneath gets the easy layup. Kevin David Rice, the nephew of the former Miami Heat great Glenn Rice. Greenlee thought about a 3. Rosado down low. Reverse is good.
Great play by Greenlee, just being patient coming off that pick and roll. Kept his dribble, and then when he saw Rosado on the roll, he made the right play. Didn't try to force it in there. Just a heady play by Greenlee.
Here's Rice. Serving. Beats Martinoff. Martinoff with a 12-footer. That won't go. Rosado rebounds on the bounce. Elijah Martin to the foul line. Gaffney down low, Lorient for the reverse.
Lorient's a little gas right now, Frank. I don't think he's played this much in a row since his days back in Ocala, but the pace is in FAU's favor. All 5 guys blocking out and rebounding. They're able to get out in transition. We haven't had a stoppage of play, Frank, in a long time.
No, we've had 1 foul. The grip on the spin. Left-handed shot won't go. Gaffney rebounds again. Owls up big in this one, 32-11 here in the first half. Home opener for Florida Atlantic, and we have a whistle and a timeout on the floor. 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go in a fast-moving first half. Very few stoppages. It's up and down basketball, and the Owls so far shooting the lights out. 12 of 18 from the field for Florida Atlantic as they lead it 32-11. A lot of excitement in Boca Raton as the Florida Atlantic Owls, their home opener after their incredible season a year ago where they went 35-4 and reached the Final Four. Matt, Final Four teams as a 9 seed or lower, and FAU joined that list.
No question about it. And 1 possession away, Frank, from playing for it all last year. Again, we've talked about just the balance that this team has. Any given night, 9 of these guys can go for 20 points. They really can.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is when you sub, as a head coach, you're always concerned is there a drop-off when that happens? What's made this team so good is there's 0 drop-off no matter who comes in this basketball game.
Owls shooting 14 of 20 so far with 12 assists on 14 made baskets. And 10 of those are either layups or dunks. Here's Trey Carroll with the lob down low for Golden. Lost it momentarily, but the little baby hook floats in.
Great look by Trey Carroll. You know, there were times last year, especially late in conference play, where Trey Carroll came off the bench and provided some really, really big minutes.
Here's Acup on the baseline drive. 7 points now for Tyson Acup.
Execution for Eastern Michigan coming out of the timeout. Just got to slow down a little bit. FAU's got them rattled just with their intensity on the defensive end of the floor.
2 missed layups by Golden, and we have a foul on the next rebound. looks to be on Legend Jeter. That'll be his first. We'll take a timeout. 34-13, Florida Atlantic leading at home. .7:01 to go in the first half here in Boca Raton. Florida Atlantic ranked number 10 in the country, leading Eastern Michigan 34-13. Second meeting between the two schools, Matt. Last season up in Ypsilanti, the Owls won it rather handily.
They won it rather handily. It was a three-point line. They shot 50% from behind the three-point line, made 12 threes in that game. Greenlee had 23 points. Glad Golden was big in the game as well. I think it was 15 and 7, and just the balance. We keep saying that term, Frank, balance. 9 guys started a game last year for FAU. 9.
Yeah.
They've already played 10 in this game tonight, but that just goes to show you how dangerous. Someone turns an ankle, you never want to see it, but you don't miss a beat with who's starting.
Boyd off the inbounds, misses the three. Weatherspoon follows.
Great job by John L. Davis keeping that ball alive. He's been really active defensively in this game. He's been really active rebounding, offensive rebound there to keep it alive and get his team another possession and in the basket.
Doing the little things. John L. does not have a shot yet tonight. There's a foul on Trey Carroll going against Yusuf Jihad down in the low block. And that is the first foul on Florida Atlantic. Comes with 6:35 to go in the first half.
There's something, Frank, it's very interesting about this Eastern Michigan team. They have talent. 9 transfers are on this team. 5 of those transfers played at a high major school.
Here's Aycup with a triple. That's no good. Trey Carroll with the rebound. Here's John L. Davis. Looking for his first shot. Won't go. Battling to keep it alive, and John L. does come up with the rebound. Double teamed in the corner. And he calls a timeout.
I know one thing, in this timeout here, Dusty May is going to praise John L. Davis's effort. It has been outstanding in this basketball game. You alluded to it. Hasn't scored much, only attempted 1 field goal, but he's getting to those 50-50 balls. He's impacting the game defensively at a high level.
And that's the thing about the culture that Dusty's built, Matt, is that John L. Davis is, by all accounts, a star player, all right? He worked out for 5 or 6 NBA teams this summer as he tested the waters, decided to come back. On some teams, that guy's going to sulk if he doesn't have a shot 8 minutes into the game.
No question about it.
He's doing the little things,
He's doing the little things. And that's what's so impressive. You alluded to it. Coaches throw out the term culture all the time. Culture is not words on a wall.
No.
Culture is your behavior, your actions. And Johnell Davis, so far in this game, is a prime example of that culture that Dusty May has created here.
Difficult inbound spot for the Owls and Elijah Martin as referee stopped play to wipe some moisture up off the floor. You rarely see an inbounds from in the absolute corner. I don't think coaches have a lot of plays drawn up for this.
Talk about a special situation. That's what this one is right here.
They'll get it into Boyd. Now Weatherspoon had it knocked away from behind and stolen by Billingsley. A-Cup around the screen. Jeter with the pump fake. Over Golden.
Talked about Jeter earlier in this game. Played a lot of minutes last year, but you can see the ball every single time down the floor is in Tyson A-Cup's hands. Transfer from Duquesne. He's got such good ability, can really change speeds, but it's his feel in those ball screens which make him so difficult.
Martin drew contact and no call. He looks longingly at the referee saying, what do I have to do? There's a foul on Golden as Ellerby drove to the hoop. And Dusty May saying, wait, that's not a foul at the other end?
Well, it was a foul on the other end, Frank. And this was a little bit late down here on this end, but Elijah Martin, just you can see he's trying to get himself going, but much like Johnell Davis, there's been 5 or 6 possessions, Frank, in transition where he has sprinted the floor. Now, it hasn't led to any points for him, but it's opening up the floor for other guys, and those are the things that don't go in the stat sheet. When the FAU gets rebounds, and watch Martin just sprint the floor in transition. Great job getting himself down the lane. Anytime a guy leaves his feet, you think you're going to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Ellerby makes both. That's our first free throws of the night for either team. Coming with 5:24 to go in the first half. 36-17, FAU still on top. They've led this one all the way. Davis into the paint. Martin open for a triple. That won't go. And the rebound pulled down by legend Jeter.
Great play by Johnell Davis. Could have taken 3 in the corner. Ball fake, drove, paint touch, got it wide open. Listen, Elijah Martin is going to knock down some threes. It's only a matter of time.
Osuniak misses the 3. Golden pulled down the rebound. Nelly pulls up for a triple. That's short. Good play by Weatherspoon. Look at that hustle.
See effort plays, Frank. Sometimes when the ball's not going in the basket, these guys are stepping up and making these effort plays. That's what Coach May keeps talking about. We're playing hard. Their offense is going to get clicky. You talked about it. Elijah Martin's missed some practice time. It's going to take him some time to get his rhythm back. But as long as they're playing as hard as they're playing, Coach May is going to be happy.
Yeah, Elijah 0 for 4 so far in this game. Finds Boyd for a triple. That is pure.
Frankie could have forced the issue up at the basket there. He had a look at the 3, drove it in there, could have forced something else up, but he made the right play. He found his teammate, Nick Boyd. Terrific play by Elijah Martin.
39-17 Owls. Osuniak on the drive. The floater is good. Freshman from Slovenia.
Talented player. Was talking to Stan Heath. It's an interesting story. His son played professionally in Slovenia, and his agent called about Osuniak, and man, he's going to have some big-time games for Eastern Michigan.
Count it and 1. Vlad Golden with a chance for a 3-point play.
The big fella with the floater. Great play, played off 2 feet. He rotated over to step in and take the charge. Vlad caught himself on balance and got it up and into the basket.
Vlad Golden with point number 8 as he's able to finish in the lane, and Florida Atlantic leads this one 41-19.
Another thing that makes this team just so good is their unselfishness. You see Elijah Martin here, he looks at the basket, could have easily taken that three-point shot. He gets himself a paint touch and finds Nick Boyd out on the perimeter for the wide open three. We know Elijah Martin can score, but it's the effort plays and it's his unselfishness that Coach May is going to continue to praise.
And Elijah, we know his offensive game. It will come around. As I said, he's missed a ton of practice time and really was a game time decision for the opener. So they weren't even sure he was going to play against Loyola of Chicago. Here's Golden trying to complete a three-point play. The foul before we went to the commercial break was on Kevin David Rice. Vlad now with 11 points.
Frank alluding to that unselfishness. FAU already has 14 assists on 18 made field goals.
That's sharing the basketball. Jeter, big guy handling the ball out front. A-Cup on the handoff. Servant looking for Jeter in the block. Finds Osonia, good pump fake, but he can't finish. Jeter lays it up, no, but there was a foul. That'll go on Golden, his second. And Giancarlo Rosado will come off the bench. And Vlad, I suspect, will sit the rest of the half with those two fouls. First half has 3:29 to go.
Gaffney just also seeing it just for a split second there on the back cut. Allowed him to get down the lane for that layup. Eastern Michigan able to get that offensive rebound and get the foul.
So Rosado does replace Vlad Golden. Jihad number 22 back in, replacing Servant for Eastern Michigan. Legend Jeter, 6'8" sophomore out of River Rouge, Michigan. Averages 4 points, 3.5 rebounds through 2 games this season. 1 out of 2 at the line, and Martin rebounds. 22-point lead for the Owls. Their largest has been 23 here in the first half. Martin, Gaffney. Now Nick Boyd. Rosado, backdoor, Martin for the flush. Elevates and dominates.
What a pass by Rosado. That's a set play to get Elijah Martin on a backdoor dunk. But Rosado completely set it up. Big time play by Rosado.
They cut to Jeter. Backs in against Rosado and finishes. 7 points for Legend Jeter. Still a 22-point lead for the Owls. Rosado spins inside and puts it off the glass.
You don't miss a beat, Frank. You don't miss a beat. Vlad Golden picks up his second foul, and you enter Rosado, and he drops a dime for a dunk to Elijah Martin and a nifty finish in the lane on the last possession.
A-Cup missed the shot. He got it back. Rice, A-Cup again. Down low Jeter. And we have a whistle and a foul on Rosado. Let's take a look again at the assist by Rosado and the big finish from Elijah.
What a pass by Rosado. Just one dribble. That's something they work on in practice. It's a set play on a backdoor play to get Elijah Martin that dunk. But Rosado completely set it up. That was a big-time pass.
Brennan Lorien checks back in for the Owls. Ellerby and Martinoff back in for Eastern Michigan. So between Rosado and Golden, the bigs, the number 5 spot has 19 points in this first half. A-Cup finds Rice. Rice had it knocked away and stolen by Martin. Good bounce. Lorient is fouled on his way to the basket. And Rosado went down in a heap as he was running up court. Looks like he got his legs tangled with an Eastern Michigan player. Rice picks up his second foul as Lorient tried to go all the way to the hoop.
Go back to that possession, Frank. We talked about Elijah Martin running the floor without the ball. That time he got the rebound, and as he was pushing the ball up the floor, he was looking for Lorient the whole time. His head was up. He wanted to throw that over the top pass and reward Lorient for running the floor.
Brennan Lorient, 6'9", 200-pound sophomore, from Ocala, Florida. Appeared in 21 games last year, only scored 16 points. It was very limited action. And he misses the free throw. 6 points tonight for Lorient. John L. Davis back in, replacing Elijah Martin.
We talked about it earlier too, Frank, just the jump from the freshman to sophomore year. Listen, it's an adjustment coming to college. It takes time to get used to the physicality of the game, the speed of the game, the athleticism of the game. But Lawrence, a guy that really, really worked hard. You can tell he worked hard over the summer on his body in the weight room to be able to impact games at this level.
Under 2 minutes to go, first half. Ellerby on the drive, crossover. Whoa, nice move. Julius Ellerby with 4 points. That was a heck of a move.
Well, Eastern Michigan is a talented team. 9 transfers, 5 of those transfers played at high major schools. And they're without one of their better players tonight as well. Lovejoy, a guy who played in a lot of games for them last season, still out with an injury. Coach Heath hopefully can get him back soon.
Gaffney misses the 3, and we have a foul against Lorient on the rebound.
How about the effort level of John L. Davis just getting to the offensive glass in this game? Didn't come up with that one there, but he's making a conscious effort every single time shots go up on this end of the floor. He's flying to the backboard. Eastern Michigan's got to make sure they know where he is because he's coming every single time.
Yeah, Stan Heath wasn't happy about the blockout responsibilities on that last possession. There's Rice. Martinoff lost the handle, got it back. Rice for 3. There's John L. Davis with the rebound. Nelly on the run. Goes all the way in, draws a foul, and he'll shoot 2. Foul will go against Ellerby, his second.
You know, for Coach May to be able to have multiple guys be able to attack off the bounce in transition, that's very difficult to prepare for if you're the opposing coach. You just don't know where it's coming from. Elijah Martin, you saw him on the previous possession. He found Lorient over the top, and John L. Davis, his head's up the whole time. For young players that are watching this game, watch those guys bring the ball up the floor in transition. They never drop their heads because they're constantly trying to find their teammates, or where is the angle that I'm taking to get this ball down to the basket.
John L. Davis now 0 for 3 from the free throw line this season. 0 for 2 against Loyola of Chicago and missed the front end there.
I don't think, Frank, that's a trend that's going to continue.
No. He is normally a very good free throw shooter. 1 out of 2 for Nelly. That's his first point. And a 24-point lead for the Owls as we're under a minute here in the first half. Acup, who's been the main offensive threat for Eastern Michigan. And he drives all the way in and scores. That's a heck of a move again by Acup.
That's a tough finish. Set play, getting him to his right hand. FAU's got a better job trying to get him going to his left. He's just too good of a player.
There's
going
a
to
rare
his right.
turnover.
He's strong and physical and able to get in there and finish.
Acup had it blocked by Greenlee. Why, I don't think Greenlee believes that call. So they called it on Davis. I thought Greenlee had all ball, and he did, but Davis got part of the arm on Acup.
Tyson Acuff is just an efficient player. It's not just his three-point shooting, but what separates good guards from great ones is their ability to change speeds and change direction, and also get in the lane and absorb contact and go up and finish.
Acuff now in double digits with 10. FAU's biggest lead has been 25 in the first half. Acuff trying to get it down to 20 and does. 11 points from the young man who started his career at Duquesne, and I believe you recruited him in your last head coaching job.
I flew to Detroit, and I did a home visit with him.
Owls up 20 with 7 seconds to go. Greenlee. 1 second, Gaffney leans in and fires. Count it at the half. Jalen Gaffney, as the buzzer sounded, expiring the first half time, 51-28. The Owls go to the locker room easily in front, an impressive first half, Pat.
You know, and Greenlee, even on that last possession, it would have been easy for him to force something up with the basket, but it's the unselfish play. He hits Gaffney, and Gaffney makes an outstanding shot to get the FAU Owls up 51-28.
We're not in performance mode, so we've got to transition to where we are in learning and improving mode more often in practice.
We're going to have the same work ethic and dedication. I'm very confident because it's who we are. It's the other things, how this unit grows together, how they evolve, how they work together. Those are the things that are going to determine our success, and we're not chasing something that happened in the past. This is a completely new season. The ups, downs, challenges that each new year presents, and then we have to embrace those things and figure it out along the way.
Is it back to work, or the work never stopped?
The work never stopped, honestly. The off season was good. We now have the season form, trying to get ready for the games coming up. Yeah, the work never stopped for us. We was here pretty much all summer putting in work as a team. And I mean, I feel like we're ahead of where we were last year, so that's a good sign. You work hard all your life, and you get an opportunity to be on this big stage, and you're able to perform, and you know, things that you tell yourself you can do, and you see it come into action. Gives you a boost, it gives you more belief, and it just makes me personally want to work harder.
Do you feel a lot of college basketball still doubts this team?
Yeah, just because we're a small school, I feel like everybody still gonna doubt us, so we just keep putting our head down, keep working, and we gonna show the world what we're capable of.
And what did last year prove to yourselves that you can use to build toward this season?
Last year proved that we could compete with anybody as long as we stay together and play as a group.
I think what gives me confidence is just the attitude, the overall attitude of the team. I mean, we know we haven't arrived, and just the everyday work that we put in and just the focus that we have. I mean, we're not expecting anything to be handed to us. So, I mean, just like we approached last season, I mean, you can't control everything, but you can control how much work you put in every day, and the results will show.
You're taking on a very daunting schedule, especially prior to the American Conference opening. Why take on that much of a challenge?
Well, we've tried to get in a lot of these events in the past, and we didn't have an opportunity. So this was the first year where we've been asked to be in these events, and our players are competitors. They want to compete against the best.
Also, I don't think you could pass up all that national exposure.
FAU being on national television, whether it's CBS, Fox, National Game of the Week, ESPN, ESPN2, we're going to have it covered, and we're excited to represent Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, we embrace the challenge, for sure. We ain't running from nobody. You know, we want all the smoke, we want all the action. I know what we're gonna do in the moment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Halftime in Boca, Florida Atlantic leading Eastern Michigan by a score of 51-28. 30 of the 51 points coming off dunks or layups. No, now I am, yeah. I didn't hear myself during that segment. That's what I'm saying. That was live, and I didn't hear it. Okay. Back at Eleanor Baldwin Arena on the campus of Florida Atlantic University, the 10th ranked Owls leading Eastern Michigan here at halftime, 51-28. Hi everybody, Frank Fork alongside Matt McCall. And Matt, quite a first half for the Owls and a real clinic in terms of being able to share the basketball and get shots at the rim.
Well, 16 assists on 21 made field goals is absolutely outstanding. You want to talk about an efficient offense. That was an offensive clinic in the first half by FAU. Anxious to see if Eastern Michigan changes anything. How can they force FAU into shooting more jump shots, longer jump shots? Because like you alluded to, everything for FAU was in the paint and at the basket.
And think about this, John L. Davis has 1 point and Elijah Martin is barely on the score sheet as well. He has 2, and yet FAU has 51 points.
Well, the dunks got started right off the tip. No pun intended, it happened right off the tip. Vlad going with a set play there, back screen him, get him going all the way to the run, but it was in transition. It's their defense turning to their offense. That's what makes them so good. You got multiple guys that are bringing the ball up the floor. The ball was moving. At times in the first game versus Loyola Chicago, they tended to get a little bit stagnant. That hasn't been the case in this game. Multiple guys touching it every single possession, highlighted by this Elijah Martin dunk on an outstanding pass by Rosado.
Well, a lot of energy in the arena tonight, and one of the keys to the game that you mentioned was the three-point shooting for Eastern Michigan. Well, they've only got 1 3 at the half.
Well, the other thing we talked about for Eastern Michigan was taking care of the basketball. I thought early in the game they were struggling with that. They had only 6 turnovers in the first half, but 4 of them came in the first few minutes of the game. They settled in, they ran their offense, they got A-Cup into some high pick and rolls, and when they did that, they were effective. But it's not going in from 3. You got to see how they can get the basketball more to the paint, try to get to the foul line so they can cut it in this lead.
Let's revisit Matt's keys to the game as we spoke about earlier at the opening of the show tonight. Protect the ball for Eastern Michigan. Well, they only have 6 turnovers, so not that bad, but the Owls have turned that into double-digit points.
Well, the FAU is so active defensively with their hands getting in passing lanes, but really a lot of those turnovers came early in the half. Eastern Michigan did settle in. They just got to figure out how are we going to slow this FAU offense down. We've got to eliminate layups and dunks and can't give them any rhythm threes.
Really, for FAU, of their 21 field goals, 15 are layups or dunks, and then they have 6 threes. So the mid-range game has not been there for Florida Atlantic tonight, but it hasn't mattered.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Will Eastern Michigan try to change something? Are they more aggressive in pick and roll coverage to try and maybe create some turnovers? Do they go back to that zone and try to force FAU to shoot more jump shots? Because like you said, a lot of their points have been in the paint. A lot of them have dunks, layups. Got to try to force FAU to shoot some long 2-point jump shots.
And for Eastern Michigan, Tyson Acup leads the way with 11 points at the half. Real balanced scoring for the Owls. Weatherspoon has 10, but then Nick Boyd has 8, Golden has 6, Lorient has 7, Rosado has 8, Gaffney with 3, Martin with 1, and Martin with 2, and John L. Davis with 1. So the 2 big guns, at least from last year for Florida Atlantic, quiet offensive games, but as you mentioned in the first half, Matt, really involving themselves in the game in other ways.
They impact the game in so many different ways. Both always are trying. When Vlad gets it down on their block, he's got to go and got to go score. But you can see when Rosado gets it, he's such a good passer. Even though at times they didn't make 3-point shots, he always faces the basket and is trying to find his teammates. How about this too, Frank? Your 2 starting guards in Greenlee and Nick Boyd, 9 assists, no turnovers.
Wow. Any coach will take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Well, Florida Atlantic opened the season with a win in Chicago against Loyola Chicago. Technically a neutral site game, but certainly a pro Ramblers crowd. And now here at home tonight, the Owls putting on quite a show in the first half, showing off their new sand-colored uniforms. Football team had the sand color on a couple of weeks ago, so it's a little bit of a theme here at Florida Atlantic this fall.
Nowadays, it's tough to keep up with how many different color uniforms everybody has. It seems like football, they're rolling out a different color uniform every single Saturday.
Well, that's the way of the world. You know, the more merch you can sell, the better off you are. All right, so we'll get ready to start the second half here. It's Boyd, Davis, Golden, Weatherspoon, and Greenlee. the original starting lineup for the Owls. Rice, Ellerby, Servin, Jeter, and Acup on the floor for Eastern Michigan. Biggest lead in the first half was 25 for Florida Atlantic. Acup to the paint. Jeter spins it down low, and a holding foul on Nick Boyd as he was trying to defend Connor Servin.
FAU trying to be a little bit more aggressive with Acuff this half. First play there, you can see they send him on a double baseline screen to try and get him out there. John L. Davis did a great job, not only switching the second screen, but not allowing him just to catch it in scoring range.
Rice for the Eagles. Baseline jumper on the way and in the hoop.
It's the right play coming off that step-up pick and roll, driving to his right hand. Talk about a mid-range jumper. He did that, got right to his spot, able to step up and knock it down.
Makes it a 21-point game. Here's Davis. Boyd. Now John L. Davis once again. Uses the golden screen, doesn't have anything. Weatherspoon to Greenlee. 5 on the shot clock. Boyd from the corner for 3. Servin with the Eastern Michigan rebound. Better defense from Eastern Michigan on that possession. Jeter on the drive, lays it off the glass and in. First 4 points of the second half go to the Eagles.
Jeter was pretty active in the first half. Transfer from Providence. Played a lot of minutes last year for this basketball team, getting used to Coach Heath's system. He's been one of the bright spots offensively for Eastern Michigan tonight.
Greenlee answers with a triple for the Owls.
Greenlee rises up and knocks it down. If you're Dusty May, you want your team to come out of the locker room with the same intensity. We're not looking at the scoreboard. We've got to get better. We've got to improve. One of the things that's got them to have this big lead in the first place has just been their effort. It's been plays like John L. Davis is making right here, mixing it up on the inside, effort plays to get his team out on the break.
Greenlee thought about a 3, feeds Golden, and he's fouled by Acup before the basket.
You can see Dusty May fist pumping, telling John L. Davis, great job. Greenlee comes off. The effort to get the ball inside to Vlad Golden early in this half, but Dusty May is praising John L. Davis's effort constantly, as he should, because, man, it has been outstanding in this game.
Davis to trigger in. Boyd. Lost the handle momentarily. Now John L. Golden, low block. The hook shot won't go. Off the floor, it's Rice picking it up for Eastern Michigan. Acup around the screen. Acup takes it all the way, count it, and 1.
Tough finish by Tyson Acuff. Anytime he can get to his right hand and get in the paint, he's so difficult to guard because of his size and his physicality. You see him driving to his right, absorbs the contact, able to go up there and finish for the and 1.
Second foul on Nick Boyd, and Acup, we're looking for point number 14 at the line. Completes the 3-point play. And it's a 19-point Florida Atlantic lead. Davis looks at Golden in the post. Greenlee at the elbow. Golden down low, foul before he made his move to the hoop.
Every offensive set that FAU was running this second half has been to get the ball to Vlad Golden on the block. They're working hard. Nobody's forcing anything in there. Got to keep praising the unselfishness. But you can see there is an effort to go to Vlad Golden to start the second half.
Foul was on Jeter. He goes to the bench. Martinoff into the game to replace him. Greenlee open for 3. Brian Greenlee, lock and load on target. 9 points for Greenlee, all on 3s.
He led this team in scoring. First Eastern Michigan last year, 23 in the game. FAU shot 50% from behind the 3-point line.
Here's Rice. Fends off Boyd, now backs him down. Fades, fires, no. Boyd rebounds. Nick Boyd takes it all the way, can't finish. Golden, left hand puts it in.
Effort plays. FAU continues to make them in this basketball game, much like Coach May alluded to in the first game versus Loyola Chicago. He's going to continue to praise that effort as John L. Davis just being a little too aggressive on the reach in. But Frank, going back to Brian Greenlee, and we talk about just the balance that this team has. He's a team leader last year in three-point field goal percentage, second on the team in assists. And man, how good was he versus Kansas State in the NCAA tournament? 4 for 6 from behind the three-point line. It's just, if you're scouting this team, who are you taking away? we got to take away threes. We can't give up layups and dunks. But who are we going to help off of? That's the biggest question for opposing coaches when you face this FAU team is, where do we help? Where can our help come from? Because we don't want to help off any of these guys on the perimeter because we're going to give up three-point shots.
Kirill Martinoff, the 7-footer from Barrie, Ontario, makes 1 of 2, but I believe we had a lane violation, so he'll get another chance. Martinoff, one of 5 7-footers in the MAC this year.
I know Coach Calipari in Kentucky, he's got 3 7-footers, but none of them can play right now.
Very unusual looking free throw. Martinoff makes 1 of 2. Literally shoots it with one hand. The guide hand is off the ball. Don't see that very often. There's a foul on McGriff as Greenlee started a drive.
Speaking of Kentucky, Frank, Legends Classic tonight in Chicago. There's some good basketball being played. I know Coach Calipari wishes he had one of those 7-footers to try and stop Hunter Dickinson tonight in Chicago.
Greenlee, pick and roll, Golden fouled. Yusuf Jihad picks up the foul.
Brian Greenlee last year, second on the team in assists. Nick Boyd, team leader in assists. And those guys just kept up where they left off. 9 assists, no turnovers in the first half. We talked about Boyd, just his leadership, his vocalness out there on the floor, not just in games, but just means so much to this team in practice.
And by the way, if you're going to watch Saturday's game against Bryant, as Weatherspoon fires and hits a corner 3.
Frank, where do you help from? John L. Davis, heady play, finds the open man in the corner. Eastern Michigan tried to go zone there. Extra pass, wide open 3.
McGriff answers with a jumper. My original thought was the Saturday halftime feature is going to be Nick Boyd mic'd up at practice, and you'll see exactly what you're talking about.
It's so impressive to see, and it's infectious throughout the entire team.
Golden on the pick and roll, count it and 1.
Another great find by Greenlee, just so patient. But how about Brian Greenlee, his ability to knock it down from the three-point line. His hot streak continues. FAU hurting them from all different angles. John L. Davis, extra pass. FAU rolling.
Challenge the perspective the world sees you by. answer the questions they're afraid to ask. You need grit. You need determination. Because this isn't just a campus, it's a coastline. This is Florida Atlantic University. Your future awaits.
Back at Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena on the campus of Florida Atlantic University, 64-38, the Owls leading the visiting Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Frank Hort alongside Matt McCall, and the Owls picking up right where they left off last season, Matt, when they registered 35 wins against 4 losses. But you look at the scoring leaders, and it's, as you said, spread around. Who do you guard? Who do you double?
Who do you guard? Who do you double? Who don't you guard? That's the problem. Who do you help off of? I just feel like it's just such difficult for opposing coaches to prepare for. Do you try to switch defenses? How do you take them out of a rhythm? Do you try to maybe go some tempo press back to zone? It's not easy to scout these guys and prepare for.
Well, Vlad Golden stepping to the line, trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. Rattles in and out, so it stays 64-38. McGriff. Here's Acuff. He's been the main offensive threat for Eastern Michigan tonight. Martinoff with the reverse.
See, though, Golden being much more aggressive pick and roll coverage that time with Acuff. Had he not fallen down, that layup would have never happened. They want to keep him from getting to his right hand, but not allow him just to pick them apart with his size and ability to see over defenders.
Here's Davis. Kicks it out to Boyd. Davis again in the corner. Guarded by Billingsley. 10 to shoot. Good pass, Golden. The left-hand shot is good.
Good play by John L. Davis, driving it to the baseline. Anytime there's a baseline drive, there's 3 spots that got to be occupied. The drift, the diagonal. Elijah Martin was there, and the dunker spot was exactly where Vlad Golden was supposed to be. He's the recipient on a great play by John L. Davis.
Biggest lead of the night for the Owls at 26. Acuff kicks it out to Billingsley. Billingsley fires over Martin and hits.
Tough shot from Jalen Billingsley.
First basket of the night for Billingsley. Martin drew a foul as he drove in.
Billingsley, another one of those high major transfers, came in from Georgetown. Played a lot of minutes last year for this team, had 15 starts. You see Martin here being aggressive in transition. Sometimes, Frank, the best way to get your offense going is get yourself to the free throw line. You get yourself more in a rhythm if you can get to the foul line. Love Martin's aggressiveness in transition.
Arna Osuniak picked up the foul. Osuniak's first. Martin rattles it in. Giancarlo Rosado checks back in, replacing Vlad Golden in the Owl lineup. And as you mentioned, Matt, in the first half, absolutely no drop-off with those two guys. They're rarely on the court together, although I know Dusty made plans at times this year to use both Rosado and Golden in a big lineup.
Only reason to do that is if you're playing against another big lineup.
Right.
Frank, this offense is just so efficient and so good, and everybody knows their role. And they genuinely care for each other and get joy out of seeing their teammates succeed.
Osuniak fires it up in the lane, won't go. Good rebound, Martin. Owls trying to get out on the run. Boyd, step back triple, on target.
What a pass by Elijah Martin. The unselfishness, Frank. It would have been easy for him to try to force something up in transition. His teammate pointed to him. Big time play. Dusty May high-fiving his guys as they come off the floor.
Yeah, terrific pass by Elijah as he led the fast break. And as you said, he could have taken it to the rim, maybe draw a foul, instead gives it up for the Boyd three-pointer.
But again, watch him push it in transition. His head and his eyes are always looking up the floor. He's not just zeroed in on trying to get to the basket. He's generally trying to find one of his teammates for a wide-open three.
And that was the 20th assist of the night for Florida Atlantic on their 28 made field goals. They're shooting a tick under 61%.
Frank, we may be breaking in on a record here. I don't know, we got to go to the archives in our next time out. We've got to see what's the single game record for assists in a game.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
We're getting close. I mean, it's remarkable how willing this team is to share the basketball. You don't see it everywhere.
I think, Frank, too, one of the hardest things to deal with in sports is expectations. You look at this FAU team last season, yes, there were some expectations, but there weren't the expectations that are on the group this year.
Oh, not
and
even
sometimes
close.
as a player, you can get polarized by those expectations, but when you're sharing it, when you're moving it, when you're not focused on yourself, those expectations go out the door.
Quick anecdote for you. They go to the Final Four last year. They lose on the last second shot in the semifinal to San Diego State. They get back to campus on a Saturday. The following Monday, my office is over in the stadium. I come over here to the gym. I forget what I had to do. There's 4 guys on the court working on their shots. They got home on Saturday from the Final Four. Dusty told them, take a couple of weeks. But I was here for 10 minutes. There were 4 guys out here shooting.
You know, Frank, when the clock hits 0, and I don't know about you, but when I was watching that game, that last shot hung in the air for a long time. Because you cover this program for an entire, obviously I've been around and covered some games with you. We were all rooting for FAU in that moment.
Absolutely.
No question about it. But when the clock hits 0 and it's over, that becomes a very selfish time. Becomes a very selfish time for players, becomes a very selfish time for coaches. What now can I get? That wasn't the case for anybody associated with this program. From Dusty May to his assistant coaches to every single player on this team, none of that selfishness crept in. Everybody stayed, and that is rare in today's day and age. And that's a credit to Dusty May, his coaches, and the culture that he's built at this school.
And not long after that Final Four, Dusty May signed a 10-year contract. Billingsley against the smaller Boyd. Draws the double team. A-Cups swings it to Osonic. He can't hit the 3, and Boyd comes away with the rebound.
Want to talk about team defense. That is a clinic on team defense as Nick Boyd with another effort play in this game.
That's a travel on John L. Davis. The other thing is, John L. Davis and Elijah Martin both tested the waters for the NBA. They went to the G League Combine. Both of them worked out for somewhere between 5 and 6 teams, and they decided, I'm going to come back.
Frank, and they'll both have opportunities to play at that level. I know there's been a number of NBA scouts that have come through, watched these guys in practice, are evaluating on them, but not just, we know how talented they are offensively. We know how talented are scorers. If I'm an NBA scout, the things I'm looking at is their attitude, their effort, and those guys, their unselfishness. And those guys, through 2 games this season, have been absolutely outstanding in those categories.
There's A-Cup. Drives it in on Rosado and can't finish, but it was poked back up and in. I believe Jeter's going to get credit for that basket. He is. It may well have been off an FAU hand as well, but they're giving Jeter credit. And it's 71-44 as we approach 12 minutes to go in the ball game. Rosado hands to Martin. Lock and load for 3. Won't go. Still struggling with his shooting, Elijah Martin.
Shooting it with confidence, so Frank. Rose up. That one looked good. It's only a matter of time before one of them goes down.
Here's Rice with the mid-range pull-up. And 3 Owls around the defensive rebound. Rosado finally came away with it. Rosado, high post. Bounce pass, Martin, the reverse, draws a foul. How about Rosado going between the legs on the dribble out at the high post? FAU with 10 three-pointers on 20 attempts. Brian Greenlee has 3 of them. Weatherspoon, he's also got 3. And the Owls lead this one easily here in the second half. Back in Boca Raton, Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena on the campus of Florida Atlantic University, the 10th-ranked Owls leading Eastern Michigan here in the second half, 71-44. The Owls were up 23 at halftime. Their biggest lead has been 29. That was just a minute or so ago. And they continue just to share the basketball, get good shots. Brennan Lorient back in the game for the Owls. And Elijah Martin will be at the line when we resume.
Frank, if you go back to that Loyola Chicago game, if we're going to be at all critical of FAU, and it's hard to be critical about anything they've done this evening, it's just got a little bit stagnant in the second half offensively, just 1 for 9 from the three-point line. Man, this second half for them, they've gotten off to the right start. The ball's moving. There's nothing stagnant about their offense in the second half of this game.
Amart misses the first free throw. Still at 4 points. 2 of 3 from the line tonight. Makes the second.
How many times last year did you see Frank Elijah Martin just go on a burst?
Oh,
where
several times.
He may have 5 points with 11 minutes to go in the game, and he ends up with 25. I mean, he's that type of offensive player.
Here's Rice. Jeter tried to get it down low to Billingsley, off his fingertips for a turnover.
Defense by Gaffney on the inside, just not standing dead behind in the post. He's a guard, he's getting post up, he's working around, he's fronting, he's trusting his teammate to run over on the help side. That's an effort play that just doesn't go in the stat sheet.
72-44 Owls. They've led this one right from the jump. Literally from the jump ball. They got a dunk off the jump ball. There's an illegal screen on Rosado. The other rule, Matt, and illegal screens have been a big emphasis over the past couple of years, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, aren't they sort of de-emphasizing the charge this year? that unless it's really obvious, they're kind of calling it a block or letting it go?
It's hard to keep up with all the rule changes. And I'll tell you one thing, Frank. They always come in, you start talking about points of emphasis and rule changes and all like this. The referees are human beings too. A lot of times they ref the game on field. And all those points of emphasis that we talked about in October, you never really see them once the game start tipping off.
Foul was on Brian Greenlee of the Owls. That's his first. Acuff will trigger in on the baseline for the Eagles. Acuff has it back. Guarded by Rosado out on the perimeter. Acuff at 20. Ellerby, offensive rebound. Blocked by Rosado. Here comes Martin. Amart drives, and a lid is on for him as Lorient follows.
Go back to that previous possession. Talking about Rosado, he gets switched on to Acuff. You can see Stan Heath is waving everybody to get out of the play to let Acuff take Rosado on one-on-one. Rosado, great job of forcing him into a long two, staying down in his defensive stance, didn't get beat off the dribble, and just such an outstanding defensive play.
Jeter with the layup off the Ellerby assist. Legend Jeter has 13 points. Here's Martin. Just 1 for 7 tonight for Amart. But again, still affecting the game. Lorient into the paint, tried to hit Rosado, stolen by Legend Jeter. .9:30 to go in this one. Acuff backs it out with 12 on the shot clock. Jeter finds Ellerby, three-pointer, no good. It was over the backboard, and possession will belong to Florida Atlantic. Let's take a look at the Rosado block on the defensive end.
This clip's a little bit cut off, Frank. Before that, forcing Tyson Acuff into a long two-point jumper. Didn't quit on the play, got back down there and blocked that shot. He just impacts the game in so many different ways. His ability to pass and his ability to guard guards at the 5 spot gives you just so much flexibility defensively.
Giancarlo will take a rest. Vlad Golden back into the game. They're looking for him down low. Martin with a triple, and that'll break the streak.
It's only a matter of time, Frank. It's only a matter of time.
First three-pointer for Elijah Martin tonight. He has 8. Good defense by Elijah. Slapped it away and stolen by Gaffney. Gaffney was tripped, no call. And a jump ball possession arrow belongs to the Owls.
Frank, just watch him as he knocks down this three-point shot. But the very next possession, they get a stop, they get a rebound, and the effort level that Elijah Martin plays with is to get down the floor. He didn't even receive that pass. And there's probably been 8 or 9 possessions tonight where he's done exactly that. Ball never even came to him, but he's opening up the floor for his teammates just by running.
Running when they're up 31. So the scoreboard doesn't matter to effort, right?
No question.
Here's Greenlee on the lob. Missed Golden. Eagles come the other way. Rice pulls up. Martin off the bad miss. Elijah into the paint. They move it to Weatherspoon. Corner three.
Elijah Martin started that possession again. His head up, coming down the floor. Extra pass to Weatherspoon. Great play by the veteran guard in Gaffney.
4 for 4. Weatherspoon from 3 tonight. He's got 16 points. The Eagles turn it over. We'll take a timeout. 8 minutes to go in this one. 10th ranked Florida Atlantic cruising at home. 80-46 over Eastern Michigan. The Owls 12 of 22 from outside the arc. 4 of them from Brandon Weatherspoon. 8 minutes exactly to go in this one. Florida Atlantic ranked number 10 in the country, 80-46 over Eastern Michigan. Frank Court, Matt McCall with you. And Matt, how about the bigs for Florida Atlantic?
Well, you talk about how difficult this team is to prepare for. One, when Vlad Golden's in the game, FAU makes the effort to try to go to him in the post. So you got to prepare for that. How are we going to play post defense? Are we going to double him? What are we going to do when he's in the game? If we double him, he's going to spray it out for threes. And then here comes Rosado, who plays more out of the mid-post, high-post area. Now we got to account for his passing, his ability to put the ball on the ground. It's just a scouting nightmare for opposing coaches.
23 points between the two bigs tonight, and they're both in the game right now. So as I mentioned before, Dusty's going to experiment a little bit, sometimes against bigger teams with both of them. Last year they were rarely, if ever, on the floor together. Here's Rosado looking to feed Golden down low, instead hands to Greenlee. Skip pass, Gaffney. Rosado, lob, Golden, easy finish.
Set play, coming out of the timeout, both bigs in the game. They're gonna go high-low. Great job by FAU of sticking with their offense. Play breaks down a little bit in the shot clock. Rosado flies in there to the high post area, high-low. Great pass by Rosado.
Martinoff hands it off for Servin, lost the handle, belongs to FAU.
I'm sure a lot of coaches get concerned if you're gonna play two traditional front court players in a game together is, what are we going to do defensively? Well, both these guys are so good defensively, it doesn't matter what you do.
And you mentioned Rosado's athleticism allows him to guard fairly well out on the perimeter.
It's that backdoor play again. Weatherspoon had him, came around for the handoff and decided not to go backdoor.
Greenlee straightaway triple.
Weatherspoon didn't go backdoor, but he continued his cut all the way through. Found him in the corner, extra pass for Greenlee. Great unselfish play.
Greenlee with a dozen, all on threes tonight. Rosado with the crossover, foul by Martinoff as he went to the rim.
Frank, he was winding that one up for a SportsCenter top 10. he kind of got a little bit too fast for himself. You could tell he wanted to bring that one up. Nobody's left yet. Frank, we've got a 40-point basketball game, and the place is still full.
And they're still loud.
And you're still loud.
Rosado wanted to have a Houston we have liftoff moment. Instead, he'll get 2 free throws. You'd never know Dusty was up 40, would you?
And for Eastern Michigan, they're going to get 9 transfers on this team. They've got some new pieces, still learning how to play without Imani Bates. I mean, we talked about it in the pregame. When you have a player of his talent, who, oh, by the way, has played in 3 NBA games this season. He's an NBA player.
Yeah.
The ball hits his hands, you know it's going up. I mean, that was his job. That's how they had to play. This is a little bit different of a system that even the guys like Acuff, Jeter that were on the team last year, they got to get used to this playing without him. Coach Heath's coached enough games. They're going to be a much, much better team come conference play January and February.
Rosado got 1 out of 2 at the line. This is Acuff, guarded by Gaffney. Underneath, Yusuf Jihad finishes with the reverse.
Good play by Acuff, driving at baseline, finding the open man. His size and strength allows him to just see over guys to be able to make the right play.
86-48, Owls comfortably in front. Rosado with the reverse. 11 points for Giancarlo.
Just the footwork on the baseline drive from your 5-man who's now in the game at the 4. Coach May with this big league just trying to experiment with some different things. You never know, Frank. You never know with foul trouble you run into a bigger team in conference. And we're going to talk about this coming out of the next time out, but just the schedule that Dusty May has put together for this team. They're going to get pushed. There's going to be challenges, especially early here.
Acuff now with 16 to lead Eastern Michigan. Rosado in the high post. Bit of a wild shot. Tracks down his own rebound, and the Owls will reset. Greenlee on the baseline. Gaffney finds Rosado. Rosado on another drive to the basket and a finish.
Frank, he's going to get a dunk. I don't know when he's going to get a dunk in this game, but it seems like he's getting himself in a position to really wind one of those back and bring the house down.
40-point game with 4:48 to go. McGriff on the drive. Jihad can't finish. And the Owls, their guards are such good rebounders, and that was a big strength of their team last year. Golden, left hand, kisses it off the glass.
Something he worked on hard this summer, Frank. The times last year he would try to really force that right-hand jump hook. Great move. They got it to him down on the block to trust his left, make a physical spin left-hand jump hook back at the basket.
He is truly within 10 feet of the basket, ambidextrous. And that's a great skill for a big man to have. Biggest lead of the night, 92-50 for the Owls. We have a timeout on the court. Stan Heath wanted a timeout. It's 4:24 left to go in this one. Just a quick check of the stats. When we come back, we'll take a break with the Owls up 42. Florida Atlantic up 42 with 4:24 to go in the home opener. They're going to stretch their home winning streak to 19 games, second longest active streak in the country. But their schedule coming up, Matt, gets a lot tougher.
Boy, does it ever, Frank. You know, like we alluded to in the pregame, too, there's going to be different challenges. There's going to be different adversity that this team's going to face. As Lorient, look out!
Elevate, dominate. Houston, we have liftoff.
Frank, you know we're from the same hometown. That looks a lot like me when I was in college and high school. Could really elevate like him.
Randall draws a foul on Rosado.
This is where he can really change the game for this FAU team. It's just his length and athleticism to jump in passing lanes and create steals for this team. But Frank, going back to this schedule, going up to Orlando to play in ESPN's event, you got Butler, Texas A&M as one of the best teams in the country. They got the preseason player of the year in the SEC in Wade Taylor. Then it's to New York to face off against Illinois, one of the best teams in the Big Ten. St. Bonaventure in Springfield, Massachusetts. St. Bonaventure is loaded this year, one of the better teams in the Atlantic 10. And then, oh, by the way, just a team called Arizona who just went to Cameron Indoor Stadium
in
and
Vegas.
beat Duke.
Yeah, in Vegas. Stays 94-50. Near steal by Davis. Acuff fires the triple. Count it and one.
Tough shot by Tyson Acuff.
He is a player.
Falling away from the basket with John L. Davis just all over him. Well, Frank, how about this? It's a 40-point game. There's 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And John L. Davis and Lorient and Boyd and Trey Carroll and Gaines and all these guys are playing like the ball was just tipped up in the air and it's the first possession of the game.
Not only that, it's a blowout and John L. Davis has 1 point. Which goes to your earlier point of it could be a different guy every night.
Be a different guy every night. And we know John L. Davis is going to play at the next level. That's what NBA teams and general managers and scouts are looking at. How is he handling when sometimes his offense isn't going well? What are the other things he's doing out there to impact winning? And man, he's done a lot out there today.
40-point game with 3:20 to go. Trey Carroll. Left-hand shot, won't go. Tipped by Isaiah Gaines is no good. And Eagles able to save it in with Connor Servin getting it to Acuff. Oh, and by the way, after that non-conference schedule, it's just the American. Not that time for Acuff. Big scramble for the rebound. Isaiah Gaines came out of it. By the way, preseason pick, as there's the lob for Lorient. And again, we have liftoff.
FAU fans are really going to enjoy Lorient the next several years of his career. Man, that freshman to sophomore jump, he looks like a completely different player.
Oh, no question. When I saw him at practice, I went to a few practices before the season started. And I saw him on the court, and I turned to one of the staff members and I said, is that the same guy that was here last year? Because he totally looked different. Leo Beef coming into the game, the walk-on wearing number 30 for the Owls.
Another guy I thought that had a really good fall camp and did some great things on just a couple practices that I was able to come to, who's going to have a great career in an FAU uniform, is Isaiah Gaines. He's another guy that's made jumps, made some improvements. Biggest thing for him is just the opportunity, continuing to be patient. Vlad Golden, Giancarlo Rosado are outstanding players. He's a really good player as well, who has a really bright future in this program.
There's Isaiah Gaines. Beef. Gaffney with 7 to shoot. Beef with a corner 3. That's an air ball. Rebound out of bounds, but a shot clock violation.
Elijah Martin, Nick Boyd, Vlad Golden, Weatherspoon, John L. Davis, Greenlee. Did I miss anybody over there that's standing and cheering their teammates on? They want their teammate to knock down that 3. They're celebrating success, rooting for guys. That's culture, Frank.
No question about it. Under 2 minutes to go. Derek Granger, freshman, in for Eastern Michigan. Here's McGriff. McGriff forces up the shot, no good. And Isaiah Gaines with another rebound. Trey Carroll, now Lorient. Gaffney, he'll fire from 3. Trey Carroll with the offensive rebound. And reverse layup.
Effort plays up 40, Frank. Trey Carroll, we talked about him a little earlier. There were times in conference season where he had some big-time minutes and really impacted winning for this team. Those guys just got to remain patient. Their opportunity is coming, and you never know when your number's going to get called, and he was ready when his number was called.
McGriff fires over Gaines and hits, counted, and a foul. Crowd here wanting another hoop to get to 100. As Jack Johnson, the other walk-on the FAU roster, comes into the game and the bench is going crazy.
Every single player and every single coach is standing up right now for Zach Johnson. who's not gun-shy, by the way. I came to a practice, when the ball hits his hands, I fully expect in this minute and 5 seconds, he's going to get one off at some point here, Frank.
McGriff completes the 4-point play. He's got 6 on the night, and we have hit 1 minute to go in this one. The fans screaming for 100. Gaines kicks it out to Johnson. Beef feeds Carroll. Off the glass and in, and there's your triple digits.
Frank, nobody's left.
No.
I thought getting out of here, I wouldn't have any problems with traffic. Nobody's left.
Rice for a 3. Gaffney comes away with the rebound, and Florida Atlantic does not have to shoot again. We'll see if they try to get Johnson a shot. Dusty says, nope, we're going to shut it down.
This team's fun to watch, Frank. They're an easy team to root for just because they play the game. They play the game the right way. They celebrate each other. Top 50 team a year ago in both defense and offense. That's how you win games, and you win games with culture, and FAU has a big time with it.
18 straight wins at Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena, Abyssinia Court, and the Owls win their home opener, leading wire to wire, 100-57. Just an incredible night, Matt, in terms of sharing the basketball. 25 assists on 40 field goals, and 13 of 25 from three-point range.
I think their offense was absolutely outstanding, but the effort level on the other end of the floor, at no point in time was there any let-up. Even at the end of the game, up 40, guys still trying to win those 50-50 balls, make those effort plays. That's what separates really good teams from great teams, championship teams, from teams that are just mediocre, and FAU has that, and they continue to play with that level of effort. They're going to get pushed, Frank. Yeah. We talked about
doubt.
it. They're going to get pushed. There'll be situations. There's going to be adversity coming. There is every single season. But as long as they continue to play with that level of effort, as long as they continue to play the game unselfishly, man, the future's bright for this team this season because it is a new season.
Well, Vlad Golden is putting on the headset and joining us. Big guy. I mean, right from the opening tip, a design play and you get a dunk, and you guys never look back after that.
I mean, if you look our last season games, you would see we did it a couple times, so that's something that we work on.
You guys got a ton of layups in the first half. Your ability and willingness as a team to share the basketball, it's remarkable. Where does that come from?
That's come from FAU basketball. That's what we're doing. That's what we work on. That's the plan, and that works.
Vlad, your teammate Giancarlo Rizzardo, you start the game, he comes in the game, gives just this unbelievable emphasis and effort coming off the bench. Just talk about the tandem that you guys have created in the front court.
It's just like amazing feeling because, thank you guys, because we have everybody like, I know guys behind me, they're gonna go and they're gonna show up, so it's like, it's amazing feeling that I know that I have my team back, so it's a great relationship, great teammates.
One more thing, Vlad. You know that some of these students who are congratulating you, there were kids sleeping overnight outside waiting for tickets.
I saw it.
I mean, how different is that from a year ago?
I can't even compare it to that. Like, it's something unbelievable. I never could imagine that people are gonna sleep for our games. It's unbelievable.
Well, congratulations on a great win. Spasibo. Vlad Golden, the 7'1" player, he had a big night, his second straight big game in a row, but it was everybody for Florida Atlantic as they win this one easily by a final count of 100-57. The Owls sharing the basketball, raining threes, dunks, layups, you name it, Matt, they had it tonight.
And they are so fun to watch. If you get an opportunity to come see this team live, it's a great environment. They play the game the right way, unselfishly, with tremendous effort. Got to get down to Boca to watch these guys.
It is a tough ticket, but if you can get it, it's worth the price of admission. Your final score once again, Florida Atlantic 100, Eastern Michigan 57. For Matt McCall, I'm Frank Ford. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great evening.